welcome to Shamanic Journey number 85 as we sit here on the East Coast in this kind of brisk weather that's been hitting us, the winds and kind of bitter cold, I have to say. This has really been some type of winter up north that we haven't had in a while. But it feels nice to be able to have that, seasons that actually shift from, winter to spring, summer to fall, and the winter that we're experiencing. Well, I'd like to welcome everybody back to Shamanic Journey, and this one is number 85, to the stories we tell. And we all have a story, we all tell stories, we all keep ourselves fixed in a specific story that keeps us, comfortable with ourselves and keeps other people comfortable. And when we look at our stories, we kind of look for people who will, basically understand the stories that we tell until people get tired and no longer could hear those stories, which either takes us to telling the story to somebody else, or it, eventually changes us and it puts us on a path to becoming more evolved and to growing from the stories that we've been telling. I would say that in our lives, we really want to change the story that we've had, because many of the stories are basically a recognizable voice in your head that comes from all different types of experiences we have: parents, teachers, relationships, and it carries throughout our lives. And sometimes what we do is we have people in our lives who are also stuck in their story, and it's difficult for us to break free from the story, especially as a child. And then we get the support of telling a specific story because we get empathy, we get a conditioned love that makes us feel that we're trapped in that particular relationship or story itself. And so it's important for us to recognize when other people are dragging us into their own story that eventually becomes our story. And we need to really change that so that we become independent and we have our own individuality. What's another important aspect of the story itself is to try to keep in mind the voice, the inner voice that one has, the inner dialogue that exists within a story you're telling or within the situation of how you handle it. And you could say whether you're too young for a situation, you're too old for a situation, you're not educated enough, you don't have the proper skills, feeling like you're not validated in what you're doing. And so it's important for us to speak the words that will help us evolve and empower us. And that's an important aspect. You want to evaluate a story that is actually going to become words that help you accomplish the outcome that you're seeking. Otherwise, if you revert back to the specific old words or stories that you've heard before, then what happens is you keep telling the story and living the same story. So we have to make a change at one point of a situation. Either the thoughts have to change, and eventually the actions will change. And it requires us to be honest. It requires us to be honest with ourselves, to be an individual. Excuse me. And once we do that, then we're able to write a different story. We're able to look at the story, evaluate a story that has not been working for us, and try to change that. And when you tell the new story, you venture off into grounds that you've not been before. But what's important about it is that once you do that, you start becoming more comfortable. You wind up becoming more isolated. Other people who have had stories that relate to yours no longer can relate to you. And you become somewhat in a state of solitude. But that's important, and that's a very big step to recognize the fact that once we're in an isolated position, then we're actually growing. We're moving away from things that no longer serve us. Excuse me. Okay. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like you to look at some aspect of your life and what story you've been telling that needs changing. What aspect can you look at, and what relationship and your interrelationships with other people that are no longer serving you, that are just keeping other people happy and comfortable, but not yourself. So if you can get into a comfortable place where you could either sit or lie down and close your eyes, that would be preferable. And by the way, I don't have any interruptions here. I'm not the one controlling whether they put on commercials or any type of break in the drumming itself. So I apologize if that happens. Okay, so get comfortable. Get into a comfortable position where you can either lie down or sit up with your eyes closed. And you're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Closing your eyes and going on a journey to understanding the stories that we tell that need some changing. Okay, close your eyes and let's get comfortable and let's go on our journey. We enter a beautiful forest with trees to the left and right. The sun is shining on your face. And the breeze is blowing. We hear the birds whistling in the trees. And you follow the path in front of you. Up ahead is the opening into a cave. And you follow the darkness using your hands to guide you. And as you walk through, you see the light shining from the other side. And you exit to the other side. You continue walking when you're interrupted with a noise behind you. And as you turn around, you see a spirit animal. What animal do you see? And as you look at the animal, you ask the animal, what story are you telling that needs to change? And you listen for the answers. darkness, using your hands to guide you. And as you walk through, you see the light from the other side. You exit the cave and follow the path back. You take a deep breath in and exhale. As the sun shines on your head. You continue walking, and to the right you stop in front of a pine tree. You put your hands around the tree. And you exchange energy with it. The tree absorbs your positive ions. It helps ground you. You release your hands and thank the tree. As you continue back on the path and exiting the forest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes, shrug your shoulders. And when you're ready, come back into the room. Okay, so that was Shamanic Journey number 85 to the stories we tell. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we all have a story to tell. The important thing for us is to recognize the story that we are telling, the thoughts that we have about those things, and understanding that where they actually come from parents, friends, relatives, experiences that we've had in our life. And important to really to think about the words that we're using for the examples. Are you too young or too old? Are you too educated or not educated? Do you feel like an imposter at a certain position? Are you the victim of circumstances, which is another one that keeps us stuck in that storytelling. So it's important for us to evaluate the stories we tell, and we really want to do is empower ourselves by stepping away from others that drag us into stories, their own stories, their gossip, their drama, that don't have a place for us to really grow. And it's important for us to find that almost sense of solitude where we're an individual and we're independent of it, and then we can find our path. And it requires us to really be honest with ourselves, to be honest with others. And in doing so, we write down a new story. And when we start writing a new story, we then can start telling ourselves and acting in a way that, may be difficult at the very beginning, but will become comfortable as we go on that path. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to thank you for joining me today for Shamanic Journey number 85, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you're interested, I do Akashic Record readings, and I also have my YouTube channel where I do interesting interviews with all different types of people who inspire me, and hopefully they inspire you as well. Okay, so I want to wish you a good evening tonight. I hope you enjoy yourself, and if you're on the East Coast, stay warm, and if you're somewhere where it's warm, I hope you enjoy yourself. Have a great evening.